I'm having a reorganise in my workshop because I felt I was in a bit of a tangle, and I've got a number of projects on the go which I shouldn't have really, but you know, variety is the spice of life, as they say. And I went to a friend's house the other day. He's got a lattice of land. He's rebuilding a lattice of land, a nice one, and he's doing a very lovely job of it. And I helped him out with a couple of bits on the suspension, and that necessitated sort of laying on the floor and measuring things. And his floor is like newly painted light grey, and it's such a pleasure to be in a workshop where the floor's good. You know, it makes all the difference. So I thought I'll paint the floor in mine. So I got myself a tin of Leyland Trade. I'll see if I can lift that up. Put it on there. There we are. Leyland Trade. It's in red, heavy duty floor paint. 2 coats are required, and it stinks when it's going off. You know, people in the review said it smells a bit, and I thought, well, when I first put it down, I thought it smells of paint. But my God, when I put the second coat on, it was quite acrid. But, you know, the smell clears as the paint goes off, and it takes 7 days to cure. It's not an epoxy coat, it's just an alkyd resin of some sort. But I've done 2 coats underneath the MGB and moved it back. I put a second coat down here this morning, up to the underneath, about the centre of the rotisserie on the Alpha Sprint. And once I've got the main area of the shop done, I'll move stuff out gradually and paint underneath there, move it back. So it's, you know, it should have been done in the summer really. This is not an idle job to do this time of year. But you know, it makes it very difficult to move around in here because everything's squashed up. But anyway, I've got a new drill. That's an addition. I squeeze past it. It's a start right. It's a pillar drill, floor standing, eBay purchase, bit scruffy. This is after cleaning it up. The original switch is missing, and it had a light switch on that, metal clad light switch. And I've bought a push button switch to fit. I didn't extend to a proper motor starter. It's got a single phase motor on it, so that can work off a socket outlet. And I took it apart, cleaned it up and put it back together, so it's all adjusted right now. We've got a belt drive that's all cleaned up. Quite a lot of cleaning involved. It was caked in dirt, but £66. 66 quid for a pillar drill. British made, you know, Start Right, which is a good old, I don't know, 50s, 60s brand, when they were made very, very solidly, and that's what you want. You want a solid one. Don't buy a Chinese thing that's made of sheet metal or something from Aldi or Lidl. You know, try and get yourself an old one. And if you can get a Fobco or a Meddings or something like that, they are really good, but they're big money. So I was pretty pleased with that for 66 quid. That will enable me, that's good enough for me, and that will enable me to do some jobs that I've wanted to do for a while that required a drill press that held the drill vertically. So anyway, I'm quite pleased with that. I've got a shelving unit here which is just got shit in it, and I'm going to tidy that as well as part of this reorganise, because reorganising creates the illusion of progress, as you know. But I think it's much nicer to work in a place where the floor is clean and it's not constantly dusting, and it will hold back any spillages. So I'm quite pleased with the progress so far and the results so far, and I'll do another one of these videos when I've finished it. My workshop floor is now fully painted from corner to corner to edge. We have a nice uniform red painted finish on it underneath all the cabinets, benches and everything, and that obviously necessitated moving things around, resealing the floor, applying 2 coats of paint, putting everything back. And it was quite a big job, really. It took quite a few stabs at it because you can only do so much at once. But anyway, it's now done and it feels much nicer out here. It's more comfortable, it looks nicer, it looks more businesslike. But one of the biggest differences I've noticed is that, you know, being in England, it gets cold and then it gets warm and moist. Everyone knows that, and you get condensation all over everything. And what used to happen is that condensation would form on the surface and soak into the surface of the floor, particularly around the doors and the entrance to the workshop. And it would then it would get damp and then stay damp probably until sort of halfway through the year, when we'd had sufficient warm, dry weather to gradually breathe all the moisture back out of the surface of the concrete. Obviously, you still get moisture condensing on the cold concrete surface when there's a change in conditions, but it stays on the surface, it doesn't soak in anymore. And within a couple of days it's gone, and it allows you to have a workshop that doesn't feel damp. Also, when you sweep it, it's not dusting, and if you do have a spillage, it doesn't soak in. So there's lots of advantages to painting your workshop floor, and I'm really pleased to have done it. The other things that I've done here, apart from moving things around and getting some of the jobs out of the way, is I bought this media cabinet, glass media cabinet, which I fully assembled. It takes quite a while, and I haven't used yet, which is why it still looks so nice and clean. But I need to buy some media and have a play with it and see how I get on with it. But I also want to raise it off the floor a bit more to make it more comfortable to use and better able to open the door on the side without clashing with stuff on the top of the roll cabinet. I don't want to have to move it around too much more. So there we are. If you're thinking of painting your workshop floor, I would say, yeah, do it, because it makes it a better place to be. A more comfortable environment, and once I've got the radio on and the heat on in here, I can happily spend hours out in this place, and it's just like it's better than being in the house, really, because it's less expensive to heat. Right, I hope you find this useful, and I'll catch you on the next one.